Hi everybody, Russ from My Hammers 11. Hope you're all safe. Well, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon, yada yada yada. You know what I mean. We'd like to thank our channel sponsors, Untitled. Check them out in the description below. Today is the first time I think I've done a Hammers 11 with a jumper on. I'm so cold, so apologies. I didn't turn my garage heating on this morning too late, so it's taking its time to warm up. But anyway, it doesn't matter because the conversation is going to be heated, and so we're all going to warm up anyway, so it's okay. Today's guest is Ian, but you might know him more as his pseudonym Hammers Poles. How are you doing? How you doing, man?
All good. Like you say, it's freezing out there, but yeah, keep it nice and warm indoors today.
Yeah, exactly. No, I am doing no trips outside at all today. I've got my Uggs on. That's how cold it. My mugs, my male Uggs, I call them. My mugs on. That's how cold I am. You know, and I'm in Essex, so I'm allowed to wear them. You know, they distribute
You're
them
just up
out.
the road as well, aren't you? You're in Hornchurch or something.
I certainly am. Certainly am. Where are you based in?
I'm in Romford, Rush Green.
Ah, Rush Green, not too bad. Yeah, that's very, very close. You could probably see my house because it's the one. If you'd opened the door and it's like, you know, like in the Northern Lights where you see like the lights. That's like my house because there's so many bloody Christmas lights outside of my front door that you can see it from a mile away. My house. It's really funny. But how are you, man? How are you in this weird time we live in now?
Yeah, it's been good. Well, it's good to be with the family and that. But
Yeah.
it's been a tough time personally. I'm now into my third job in the last 6 months. So yeah, it's been tough times, but yeah, it's football's back and you know, keeping up to date with the football.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those things, wasn't it? When we had that time where there was no football at all, and it was really, really dark. And then as soon as the football came back, everyone went, "Hey!" You know, it was for the nation. It was quite good. And I think also on Saturday, you know, we got quite a lot of coverage, didn't we, from on the news and stuff about obviously London Stadium being the first to welcome fans back in, and it seemed like it was, you know, another step in the right direction. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was
How was it
great.
for you being
Oh, it
in
was
the
great.
stadium?
I loved it. I found it a little bit emotional, actually. I'll be honest, because like, you know, for the best part of 15 games, best part of sort of half a season, really, or a whole season, in essence, really, across the two seasons we've had recently, there's been no fans, and so you know there was no response. You know, you play bubbles and there was nothing, and you know, they were singing back and it was like, oh my God, and it was only like a small amount, but because it was so quiet anyway, they amplified even more. And, you know, something which I don't think anyone picked up. I think it's the first time ever that we've walked off a pitch in recent history. We've walked off the pitch having lost the game and the fans were singing bubbles at the end.
Nice.
Which was lovely. And the fact the players went over and, you know, cap them and stuff like that. But it was really, really nice. And it's a start, isn't it? It's a start.
Yeah,
And
exactly. It's getting back to normality.
yeah, and I think you know, in some respects, I'd rather it not necessarily be all about the Premiership. You know, I think it's all about, you know, it's better for the, you know, the Orients of this world and the Dagenham Redbridges of this world to get 2,000 fans in, or up to 2,000 fans in, and the West Ham ladies as well and stuff like that. But like I do say, it's probably costs more for Premier League clubs to have those 2,000 fans in and not have those fans. And it's true. There was a lot more staff. There's a lot more catering and stewards and stuff. But fuck it, innit? There's nothing we can do about it. I think we just got to start moving forward with it. So,
yeah. And now the vaccine's here, obviously. Hopefully, it's all going to be pushing forward a lot more now.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, the first ones were this morning, weren't it? Delivered this morning on live on Good Morning Britain.
Exclusive from
exclusive, you know, injection. That's probably a first they've had an exclusive injection. But no, yeah, it's all good. And that'll be a quiz night question, won't it? Because it was delivered to a William Shakespeare
in Warwickshire. Yeah,
in Warwickshire. So that's going to be like a quiz question, a bit like when the first ever test tube baby was, and who it was. It's going to be one of those ones you need to remember from going forward.
Where was you?
Yeah, where was you? Who was the first person, and what connects him with the playwright from Stratford upon Avon? Yeah, but no, it's good. It's good. It's a start, man, isn't it? It's a start. So and you know, regardless of what happened on Saturday, that 15-minute blip, you know, apart from that and the Newcastle game, the boys are doing all right, and we're seventh. Take that.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I mean, challenging Spurs almost. Like happy days.
Yeah, it's like we are after we're no longer the one that's at the London club at the bottom of the table. It's Arsenal at the moment. Right?
I
Is it
know,
Arsenal?
looking
Yeah,
down on
it is.
Arsenal. How amazing is that?
It's brilliant, isn't it? It's so funny. It's
Yeah.
so good. Just in terms of entertainment value on Arsenal fan TV, that's why I just enjoy it, because they're
Yeah.
going absolutely apoplectic at the moment. It's like, you don't know how lucky you are. You don't know how lucky you've been. Yeah, you've had a bad season. 16th, we'd have taken 16th every season in the last 3 or 4 seasons at the moment. But
Yeah. It'll be strange to see if we kind of, we don't want to keep losing, but are they going to? Someone's going to bound to say it at some point. Let's take the fans out again, as we seem to do better with the.
Yeah, exactly.
The
that was trouble with Moisey, weren't it? When he went, self-isolated, and we won those 2 games. And when he wasn't playing, when he wasn't the manager, and the manager at the ground. But no, it's great to see. And as you said, if you told us at the beginning of August that we'd be 7th by by December-ish, we'd have taken you out. I think. Oh yeah, we're 8th now. Are we 7th or 8th? I don't know. It doesn't matter. In the top 10, we'd have taken you, bitten your hand off for that. So considering our run, so yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good, and yeah, long may it continue. I hope that we've got. I hope the bounce comes. I hope we have a bounce on Friday. Because that will really, really ruin my Friday night if we lose. Because
it's a tough game though, Leeds. They're a good team.
It is. But also, you've got the added parameter of the first thing you need to do is check what tier they're in, because Ellen Road with 2,000 fans is a tougher game than Ellen Road with no fans, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Because of the tightness of and also you got to think some of the smaller grounds at the moment, they're not in the able to have. I'm thinking like Burnleys and people like that who aren't allowed to have fans just yet. But 2,000 fans in Turf Moor will make a bigger difference than 2,000 fans in Old Trafford, for example.
True, yeah.
And I think that's why you look at the league table and everyone down there is in a tight ground, so to speak. You've got Burnley, you've got West Brom, you've got Fulham, you've got Sheffield United. Those bottom 4 are all in very, very tight grounds, and I think Sheffield United, case in point, they were flying high last season before.
Yeah, I know, it's amazing they're down there.
Yeah, couldn't have happened to a nicer club though. It's so West Ham. He still hate these clubs or something that happened. It's like when Neil Warnock came back, with Cardiff, and we all chanted, "There's only one Carlos Tevez."
Oh yeah,
that's brilliant. I love West Ham fans for that, but it's all good. But yeah, so long may it continue, Ian. Long may it continue. But and how's everything with Hammers Polls? All going well?
Hammers Polls is good. Yeah, we've got tonight's the night. We've got the Football Content Awards, so we're up for Best in Social tonight.
Brilliant, fantastic.
So yeah, hopefully we'll do well there. Up against ex-WM employee, unfortunately, but there we go. So that'll be a second then.
Yeah. Oh well. Have you dusted off your tuxedo?
Well, yeah, virtual tuxedo.
Yeah, this will be going out to the next day, so you probably either in victory or you're in defeat.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, it's all good. It's all good. No, it's good to see, and yeah, I mean, it's great. I love the Hammers Polls. It's really it's a different way of doing stuff, isn't it? Really, I think.
Yeah, it's I mean, I had my own channel itself, like my own account, but it wasn't really doing much, so I wanted to kind of a shoe in to channel my interest and my hobby. And so yeah, it was just about the same sort of time when the polls sort of started out on Twitter, so I was like, okay, let's marry the two together, and it kind of took off.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's all good. Yeah, and it's good fun. So he says the first question, 9 minutes in, I'm getting better at these things now. I'm going to get much better. Why West Ham, and why is it your club? Why are you a Hammer? That's the question I want to know.
Okay, so probably not the most conventional routine. Parents weren't very sporty. It wasn't football mad at all. So it was more of a school friend's my best mate at school at the time. He was a big West Ham fan, and in fact, my first football match was actually a QPR game. I went to his dad at the time was a big QPR fan, and we took us both to QPR versus El Ali of Egypt. Maddest game I've been to. Like, they all turn up with all these drums and horns. Like, wow, this is amazing. I really want to go there. Obviously, like I say, my mate was a West Ham fan, so I kind of just followed him.
Yeah.
And then his dad took him to West Ham QPR games all the time. So yeah, my first West Ham game was a West Ham versus QPR at Upton Park. And from there on, okay, the rest is history, as they say. I was hooked, line and sinker.
It's true, isn't it? And it doesn't matter, and that's why I love this show, because this whole channel, because everyone's story. Everyone, it's all personal in terms of how they got their journey to the club. But once they're in the club, they don't leave. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's like a proper little cult. But it's true. It's like everyone's. I mean, my journey was very, very laid out for me. I didn't really have a choice. For some people, as you said, like your mate was a West Ham fan, so you became a West Ham fan. Some people literally switched on the telly in 1980 FA Cup final, and West Ham Arsenal were playing, and they go, "I like that one."
Yeah.
And a split decision, has haunted them for the last 40 years. But
exactly. So I mean, I've been from East London myself. It was obviously an obvious choice, but I mean, I could have gone two ways. I could have gone Leyton Orient, or even where I lived. Actually, Dagenham and Redbridge played at the bottom of my roads. They were at the time Walthamstow Avenue. Obviously then moved, so I was following them for a bit. But then, like I say, kind of went with a bigger team, and I thought, West Ham to team for me.
Indeed. And then once you're in, aren't you? Really, it's like there's no. It's like one of those things where you blink and you open your eyes, and it's like 35 years later, and you go, "How did that happen? When did I? How am I still here?" Because I ask the same question all the time. Why am I still here? But obviously, with all the doing stuff that Hammers polls and stuff like that, you obviously interact a lot with fans, a lot with obviously the YouTubers and stuff like that. And it's just, I'm a pup really in relative terms to other people. I've only been doing it for 6 or 7 months, but
you've grown so quickly as well. That's really good.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people have helped me out in the way. And again, that's what I was going to come to. It's like, in terms of the West Ham family, really. And so, you by interacting with a lot of fans yourself, you really know about the fan. It is really a family club, the community. It's not really about the football. I think Pard's got it right when he said,
I was going to say about the family. Yeah, so obviously we had the account going for a little while. And then sort of Green Street Hammers kind of picked it up. And they were doing their sort of radio blogs, and they were talking about my polls. I was like, oh wow, this is fantastic. And then from there on, American Hammers picked us up as well. So like I say, it's all the community kind of coming together. And once that was on board, then
you're totally right. I think I know we laughed when Pards did it at the time, but we are more than just a football club. And that's really, and I think that's epitomized by since we've been in lockdown, really, because everyone sort of pulls together, and you see the interactions on Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. And I mean, the other day with the lady and a flag. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's a little thing that means a lot to her. Well, bless her, she put like a reward up, didn't she? Being found by the security team, and
they found it.
They found it. Yeah, it was on. I think it was last night. The West Ham security found it and returning it to her now, and stuff like that. It's like little things, but I don't see Chelsea fans doing that, or Leeds fans or Arsenal fans. They're too busy tearing lumps out of each other.
Totally.
It's just like, and it's stuff like warms your heart, warms the cockles of your heart. And now being part of it, I can really appreciate. I think I was really naive to West Ham's fan base before I did this thing. These are American Hammers. I mean, those guys are bloody nutters. We've had, I don't know, the Indian Hammers, the Singapore Hammers, Hong Kong, all over the place, and just absolutely crazy. And the American ones even more. They're just mental. It's just absolutely mental. Like the Fresno Irons, particularly. I always talk about them because they are just like crazy. They go to away pubs for the away fixture. So if it was like Chelsea away, they'll go to the Chelsea pub in Fresno. It's like, what? love it. I absolutely love it. But as West Ham Clip says we are effing massive, really,
Yeah,
in terms of
yeah.
fan base, and you know it more
I
than
mean,
anyone.
yeah, I mean, wherever I went as a kid, I mean, I was always wearing my kit, and whenever I was on holiday, everyone said, "Yeah, come on, you Hammers!" And like, yeah,
It's
wherever
true.
you go, there's a West Ham fan.
It's true. It's true. My wife hates it because I literally like if there is, I think I'm like a sniffer dog. I think for West Ham fans, it's like if I can smell a West Ham fan from 20 yards, around a pool on holiday or whatever, when we used to have holidays, that was a nice time. That
Yeah,
was,
well, those.
yeah, exactly. Then, yeah, I'd sniff them out, and obviously my suitcase would be full of old shirts and stuff. That's what I did. So, yeah, no, it's funny. It's like the other day, I went to go and get my car MOT. Well, it wasn't the other day, it was a few months ago, but went to get it MOT'd and like literally around the corner. And the mechanic was a West Ham fan. And we were chatting about West Ham for about 40 minutes before he gave me my keys. And I literally drove back to my house around literally a 5-minute drive, got out of the car. This old boy across the road didn't even break pace, didn't even break a stride walking past me. I opened the door. He must have clocked the shirt and he just shouted out, "Still outside, no one, have we?" And like didn't even turn around and acknowledge me, but just shouted it. And that's what you need to say. We've been
Yeah,
social distancing for years, West Ham fans. Orange. Yep, that's it, done.
yeah.
And I can't wait for everyone to get back because that's the thing. I think,
Oh, yeah, it'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
it'll be really, really special when everyone's back and
Yeah.
they're in bubbles for the first time.
Especially if we're still top 10 as well, that would be amazing.
Hey, here we go. Yes, hopefully, and who knows? It may well be before the end of the season. Who knows if the vaccine, does its thing and everyone
Aren't
behaves.
they talking about 10,000 coming back like sooner as well?
I read something about that. I was like, let's walk before we can leap a little bit. But
Yeah,
it's like, especially when some places haven't got any fans, and some fans are already planning. I mean, whatever people say about the new London Stadium, it is perfectly set up for these types of situations.
yeah,
I mean, it's and they've done fantastic in terms of when I've been talking to talking to journalists. I'm not journalists, but talking to journalists there who are covering the game. They have some nightmares getting into other Premier League grounds in terms of the COVID procedures.
yeah.
They're really good. London Stadium were really good.
How did it look as they were all spaced out? Were they
Apparently,
vastly
I think they look really good. Obviously, they had the majority in a Billy Bonds lower, and then they had sort of the corporate guys in the corporate seats, and I can't really see them, but the Billy Bonds ones look really, and I think Ken Hammers said to me that they seemed a lot more evenly spaced out than other grounds.
Okay.
And that's the thing, we could never have done that at Upton Park.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Never. The tightness of the grounds, the just like getting in and out. I mean, the fact is that they're all over there. You don't have to go anywhere near that bridge.
Yeah.
All the sort of the journalists and stuff, because we're all on different tiering systems based on like access to the pitch and stuff. So it's like you have red, amber, and green. And so I'm amber, so I'm not pitch side, so I'm amber. So like my floor manager, she's red, so she has to have like the tests every couple of days. I don't know how often. Same as the footballers themselves. Whereas obviously the fans, I imagine they're amber as well because they had to fill out a COVID sort of questionnaire and do the old temperature check, and that's what I have to do. So
Okay.
it's all good. It's as I said, and I can see how easy they could ramp that up. Easily they could ramp that up, particularly at the moment, because obviously at the moment they got the top tier, the Billy Bonds, is all set up for rainbow laces. That's this week and next week, so everyone has a home and away fixture, which I never knew until I spoke to Jim the other day from Pride of Irons. He mentioned that, and so that could be taken away, and you could almost have the top tiers as well, and yeah. We'll see, man. We'll see. But as long as the boys doing it right, I don't think anyone cares how many fans.
Yeah, no, exactly. So. Yeah, happy to watch them virtually if we continue the good run.
Exactly. That's what's great, and it's true. It's fun, isn't it? And when you're watching the games, on telly, do you watch it with the crowd noise on or off?
I just watch it standard. Yeah, with crowd noise on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of become a bit like white noise, isn't it now? I think
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was a bit jarring to start with, and now it's. I always listen to it with the crowd noise off, just because I love listening to like Kevin Nolan and all them just shouting like literally for 90 minutes. Very intimidating bench we have. A very intimidating back.
Imagine, yeah, Nolan on there.
Oh yeah, and even Moyes, and he's got like an Alan Irvine. They've got and Stuart Pearce and old Dave Billows, the sports psychologist guy there. They're all just like real like big brash people, and they just intimidate. If I was playing for West Ham and these guys are shouting at me, I know that they know I can hear them, I would be like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. You don't want to go at half time and not be performing, because they'll be ripping shreds out of you.
Well, absolutely, yeah. And it kind of, gives you confidence. They got a bit of passion about it as well. And I was talking to a Man United fan yesterday, and he said, if only Solskjaer would have done that, it's good to see a bit of passion from your manager rather than just sitting there monitoring what you're doing and then talk to you.
I'm always a fan of tracksuit managers. Do you know what I mean? Play managers who wear a tracksuit rather than managers who wear, like, that's the trouble with Pellegrini. I thought with me, one of the reasons was he was always one of the reasons was because he wore a suit. But no, it's that sort of precipitates the type of manager you are. Whereas I think Moisey, the fact is he's there, he watches, and I'm a real advocate for managers watching the players warming up, and he does that. And the only other guy I've seen do that is Klopp. So Klopp will literally stand on the halfway line, watch the opposition train. He always does it at West Ham, and so obviously he can see who's got, if anyone's got a limp or anything like that. That's what he must be doing. But Moisey does it as well. Moisey's there; he's looking at the opposition as well as the team, and I love managers to do that, because that's part of the job. That's part of your job, making sure your team are warmed up. And so, yeah, because he looks like he's just ready for action. Do you know what I mean? He looks like, and that's why it looks like he'd literally just like give him the ball and have a go. I think to be honest, that Villa game, I think Kevin Nolan wanted to put his boots on and have a go.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, Nolan could almost be a fifth substitute.
Oh yeah, because you imagine he'd love it, wouldn't he? He'd absolutely love it. But then he'd probably get a yellow card, so he couldn't do it over Christmas. So that's why I thought he was trying to do at the Villa game, get himself banned for 3 games, and then he'd have Christmas off.
Like Andy Carroll.
yeah. I think Andy Carroll learnt from Kevin, to be honest. But yeah, oh, bless him. But it's that sort of that. I just think it's. I think it's starting to get more credit. I think now, Moisey, in terms of the background, the backroom staff he's brought in, because they make a huge difference. And I think it's an area which we never really properly looked at. I think it's always about the manager, but actually the manager is the spearhead, and it's the rest of the team around him, and he has got himself a proper little unit there.
Forming, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I mean, when you look at previous manager regimes, the backroom staff, I don't think people could really, apart from maybe Julian, Steve Clark when he was for Zolas, there's not like people they know, but now he's the backroom staff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, certainly like under Bilic, and Pellegrini, you couldn't pronounce half the names that were there.
No, didn't know who they were, and they were just
nameless, faceless people, weren't they?
Oh, it was a masterstroke bringing in Nolan and Stuart Pearce. Absolute masterstroke.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's just they understand the club as well, and
I think that's the important thing, isn't it? Having people there who want to do well for the club as well.
Yeah,
get everyone singing off the same song sheet.
Yeah, totally, absolutely, totally. And I just think there's a real, and what I like about it is the club are doing like releasing loads of like videos of them doing training, and there's a lot more training videos and behind the scenes videos, and obviously a lot of that's precipitated by winning and putting out, if you've won, we put that out, but still, it shows us a real togetherness with the squad. And I think everyone's picked up on that now, and it's lovely to see.
And likewise on Twitter as well. That can be such a minefield. But everyone, like you say, everyone seems to be pulling together and supporting everyone. Really, doesn't seem much negativity. I mean, might get the odd one or two, but everyone's positive at the moment.
Long way to continue. Yeah, they are exactly. And it's just, as you said, like it just seems that we've got a team at the moment who. I mean, that's the one thing West Ham fans want. They just want a team who are going to put their heart and soul into the game. And to be honest, to a man, pretty much they look like they're doing that. And You've
And
got to
just
look
put
at
a shift in, don't they? Just literally
yeah,
put a shift on the
exactly.
pitch.
Shifting. That's all we ask, isn't it? It's not our fault if you're. It's not your fault if you've been picked to play and you're not technically good enough,
Yeah.
but as long as you have a go, I mean, that's why we love people like Colton Cole and Ian Dowie and people like that. They had a go, they weren't technically the best players, they weren't war beaters, but they had a go.
They played for the shirt.
Yeah, that's all we ask, isn't it? It's not a hard job. It ain't a hard job being a West Ham player, I don't think. You just have to put it in, put a shift in every game, and run about, and and occasionally you get those players who have, that work ethic, and then have some skill as well, and those are the ones you need to cherish.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they don't come around very often. Speaking of that, in a nice segue, let's talk about the old Hammers 11. So obviously, Ian, everyone we've had on the channel, bar 3 people, have given us an 11. So the whole idea is you can pick them based on whatever criteria you want to pick them on, but the only rule is you have to be alive to see them play. And so, obviously, if we didn't put that in, then everyone would probably pick the same 11, pretty much, I think. And actually, it's quite interesting because when this comes out, the day before, I did an update video where we're almost at 250 interviews. So I sort of said, okay, right, 250, which players are the most picked, and if we were doing an 11 of the most picked players, and there's a few surprises in there. Because obviously the different generations we've interviewed and stuff like that. So very interesting. So that's what we'll do with you, Ian. So
okay,
let's start off and you can pick whoever you want. Doesn't have to be the best players, and it's your 11, man. It's your 11. We've had, Green Street Hammers. We had Henry on here, and he picked the London Stadium Calamity 11, for example. So as you can imagine with Henry, right. So who's going to be in goal for this team, then, Ian? That's the question we'll ask you.
Okay, so my 11 is based on people that I've watched growing up, and obviously players that I've enjoyed watching as well. So that's kind of my criteria. So goalkeeper for me, I would imagine pretty standard for most people, Ludek Miklosko, top Czech goalkeeper.
Yes.
Fielded that goal, saved us on numerous occasions, and
usually gets Man United.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that infamous game that he stopped him from winning the title.
Yeah, I heard a rumor that someone mentioned it that then Fergie was when Schmeichel had left, they were looked at Ludo as a potential replacement at the time, for about 5 minutes. That probably that if we get him, then if we get to this situation again, he ain't going to cost us the title again, I'd imagine. But yeah, top bloke, lovely guy. We're actually doing one of our appreciation nights on Thursday. On Ludo, so that'd be nice.
Okay.
Yeah, so we go through his career and show some highlights, and then we have a bit of a panel discussion about him. I love Ludo, lovely bloke as well, lovely guy. Right, okay, so Mr. Miklosko in. Who's next? Can you go for the team as you've got them written down here?
Okay, so growing up, I was always sort of a defender myself, so I'm going right back, Tim Breacker.
Timmy Breacker.
Yeah, I kind of modelled myself on him when I was playing.
Timmy Breacker. He's one of those players that everyone spells his name wrong.
Yeah.
I can't remember who told me how to spell his name properly. It's going to really annoy me, but someone did, and so I make a point of always making sure it's always spelled properly. No, and he was solid, wasn't he? And he was one of those players that I don't think I appreciated at the time. He was just the name of the team sheet, really, when I was young. But watching back.
He always kind of made the runs down the wing as well. He was always supporting the attack wherever he could. So
definitely,
that's kind of how I played.
Yeah, but also he was just solid, absolutely solid. And watching a lot of the Robert Banks when he's bless him, putting up the end of season reviews and they get taken down, he puts them back up again. Tim was just he was like a real sort of modern day right back, really. Yeah, marauders forward, got forward quite a lot, a couple of goals, chances. A top guy, and we've got I do these sort of silly game shows. We won't mention Hammer Shots here, but don't worry. Um, we did my game shows. We had one. We've got a couple coming up with ex-players, which I thought was a bit different. And we've got Tim on one of them, and he's brilliant. Oh yeah, so funny. He's real sort of dry sense of humour he has. He's a lovely guy, and they all are lovely in that area. But yeah, he's just a top guy who I didn't appreciate. I told him that actually when I interviewed him. I never appreciated you as a kid. Oh, thanks, right? I don't know how to take that. It's like, just the name of the team sheet, and I was like, "Shut up, Russ! Shut up!"
Yeah.
Right.
No, I had his number on my back all the time, like when I played football. So yeah, that's kind of why I put him in there.
Good shout. Right, Timmy's in. Who's next, then, man?
Let's go. Julian Dicks, the left back. I imagine pretty standard for most people.
Yeah, Julian
Terminator.
Yeah, top bloke. And again, I mean, he was one of those people. I think he does appear a lot in play in teams 11s, fans 11s. Of course he does, because he transcended a few generations, didn't he? So with like 2 different spells.
Yeah, exactly.
Time. And it's funny, there's certain players who do transcend, whether you're talking to someone who, like me, I probably saw him, I started going, I was like 92, 93. People saw him before, people saw him afterwards. And he was, again, as a player, left back wasn't particularly glamorous, but he could just run a game from left back, couldn't he, really?
Yeah.
Crowd as well, you know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah. I mean, he kind of epitomised kind of West Ham. I remember one game particularly. He was at Liverpool in probably the Littlewoods Cup. It might have been at the time. We were playing Liverpool 4-1. Tony Gale scored a free kick, and I think just before the free kick, Julian Dicks had kind of got his head cut open, or he got a kick in the head, and that's how Tony Gale got the free kick. And I thought, yeah, man, he can just run through walls. That white guy, he's just like, top man.
He was brilliant, really. Yeah, Tony Gale did mention that he scored a free kick several times.
I remember that game. It always sticks in my head. So one of those 2 reasons: Tony Gale's free kick and Julian Dicks getting his head cut open.
Yeah. Well, it was like, if the game was getting a bit dull, it was almost like Julian took it upon himself to get it going again, didn't he? So it was kicking John Spencer in the head, or it was doing a 30-yard ping, or he just seemed to know when to. He was like a conductor of the crowd in the game, and literally one really bad tackle would get everyone up on their feet again, would get the players up, and it would just galvanise us all.
Totally.
Incredible ability as a player as well. All right, Julian's in. Who is next then?
Okay, so Rio Ferdinand, centre back. Yeah, classy defender. Kind of, he was the Rolls Royce, wasn't he, at the back, and sort of played the ball out from the back as you'd expect a classy centre half to. Yeah,
he was absolutely exceptional, wasn't he? Exceptional player, and he was just and I think with Rio, I mean, I see Rio in 2 stages. That Rio, when he was playing for West Ham, and probably up to Leeds, I'd say as well, was the sort of bringing it out from the back, marauding. Then obviously went to United, and Fergie turned him into an old school defender, really, and he lost a little bit of that, I think, which was a shame. Obviously, went on. Who can we say went on for an incredible career? But it would have been nice, thinking about it retrospectively, if he did more of that, like Baresa used to, and Bobby Moore used to as well. Just like.
Well, he was class. He was labelled as the new Bobby Moore, wasn't he? When he first arrived on the scene, I was like, okay, yeah, this guy's class.
Such an accolade, and such a label to have as well. And I mean, we've had Anton on the channel and stuff, and maybe Rio one day, but he's just a class act. And it's like that crop of players. I always see Rio still as a West Ham boy. All the others, I don't. Maybe Joe, but definitely Rio, I see still as a West Ham boy.
I mean, he left, not under any sort of
crowd. Yeah.
No, exactly. Yeah, he left because he was classy, and we all kind of like, he's done well for us. Off you go. That's fine. Yeah. We're happy with him.
It's a bit like Declan Rice-esque, isn't it? Really, like in the summer, not pushing him out the door, but if he wants to go, good luck to him, and hopefully he'll do well. Yeah, he deserves it to go to Chelsea or It's funny, isn't it? With some players, it's like it's the way they they put themselves in. Isn't it? So, I mean, Deck never came and never said he wanted to leave or anything like that. But we were literally picking him out the door. He's like, "Off you go, mate. Go on, good luck to you." But thankfully, nothing. Right,
it was
okay.
just a shame that we got Rigobert song with the Ferdinand money. That was all.
Rigobert on and TT Kamara, wasn't it? I think. I think we played. I think it was Leicester away was the first game they played, because I remember going to that thinking, "Oh my God, what we got here." Yeah, Rigobert song. Thankfully, his cousin was a lot better, Alex. But yes, he was a class player, Alex.
Yeah,
Song.
it was good player.
Right. Okay, Mr. Ferdinand. One more different. Are we playing four at the back, I'd imagine?
Yeah, four at the back. So yeah, to complement sort of Rio, let's go for the tough tackling James Collins.
Oh, that's a nice duo.
Yeah.
Ginger belly.
Yeah, sort of complements Ferdinand.
Very much so. Yeah, very much so. And it just, it's nice to see him on the what's name on the live stream the other day, at the ground with Chris and Jack and Colton at the live from London Stadium. But yeah, he still loves the club, doesn't he? Still has this.
Yeah.
It's just.
I think it's a shame we can't have a testimonial. Let's get that.
It is a shame. It's a shame. It'd be nice. I mean, when everyone's back, it'd be nice for him to, it's an open goal, really, isn't it? To get him on the pitch at half time or pre-match, saying goodbye properly with the scarf over him. That's what he wants to do.
Or just be an ambassador for the club and
I mean, it's
a captain team or whatever.
Exactly. I mean, they I mean, even with, I know he's got the old soccer school and stuff, and nowadays I think every academy level, age level has a West Ham ex-professional in their setup. So, with like people like Zavon and Colton and Potsy and Kino and Konchesky's around there as well, and it's great to see. So yeah, you would imagine there's a place for him somewhere at the club.
Yeah, you would have thought so.
So yeah, that's all good. Right, okie dokie. James Collins is in. Let's move into midfield then.
Okay, let's go centre midfield. Similarly, I've got a flair player and kind of tough tackler in midfield. So we've gone for Ian Bishop to start with.
Bish Bosh.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Brilliant player. Just again, class. He could hit a shot, he could ping a ball. So yeah, he was the playmaker in the day.
Brilliant, weren't he? Absolutely brilliant. He was well above his time. Well, he should have, he would have slotted into the Premier League now, wouldn't he? Really, in terms of
easily,
yeah. And he's just brilliant. And again, he's one of those players. He's very similar to Collins in that he still loves the club, and he did a thing on Irons United with McAvenny the other day with Stel and Anton, which was brilliant. And Bish, he's a lovely guy and still loves the club and interacts on Twitter really nicely with people. He
did a question for us as well. That was really good for on Ham's part. He actually did a question for us. So yeah, I much appreciated that. I was like, well done, Bish.
He's such a nice bloke, as you said. And I like his 5 Pints in podcast with him and his sons. It's quite funny as well. So no, he's good. Top man, man, Bishop. He once did. Do you remember when they used to do like prank shows where they used to get people like turn up at people's schools and they'd have like hidden camera shows and things like Bill's About and stuff like that? Yeah. He did one at my school with my brother. And it starred Dave Benson Phillips. Remember Dave Benson Phillips?
Yeah.
It was at my school. And I don't know how he got invited. My brother did it. I think because he used to do some stuff for an agency, and so they needed someone. And turned up to the second. It was in an art class, and Dave Benson Phillips like bowls in, going, "Hey, where's Tom Budden?" Oh, yeah. He's like, "Oh, Tom, I heard you're a big West Ham fan. Do you know who this guy is?" And it was Ian Bishop. Oh, it's Ian Bishop.
Wow,
and then we went onto the sort of the what was it, like a playground thing, like a concrete thing we used to have there, and they were doing like tricks and like doing like little drills. It was really funny, and it was and we spoke about it when I interviewed him, and he thought it was hilarious because he remembers it completely. And
really? Okay.
Yeah, because he was like, I didn't know what to do. It was like my first proper TV stuff. It was like I didn't know what to do. It was like really weird, but it was very, 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 very sweet man. Right, okay, Bish Bosh is in. Who's next, man?
So again, growing up, Martin Allen was always a fan favourite of mine, and I just thought he was good on the pitch. made me laugh as well with his celebrations, and he scored some great goals as well.
Yeah, let me just put him in. Where is the mad dog? I've got to find him. No, he's a top guy. And funny enough, when I do the game show with Tim Breacker, Martin Allen's one of the other contestants as well. So yeah, he's brilliant. He was just.
Yeah.
It was that period, wasn't it? Like Bish, like Martin Allen, like Monks. You had all these real personalities, which are still as big personalities as they were then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Martin Allen still plays the mad dog. You know, when I interviewed him, I didn't realise, but he was eating a dog biscuit all the way through the video, all the way through, and it's only at the end I realised it. You know, and he's just not like when we did the game show. He phoned me up about an hour before. He went, "Hi, how you doing?" I said, "Yes." I talked to him for what we're doing, and he went, "Can I be silly in this?" And I said, "Yes." And afterwards, I thought, like, after we recorded it, why the F did I say yes? You could be silly, because he was just absolute nightmare for the whole, like, typical Martin Allen. I remember we had him on the pitch once at the old ground, and Jeremy had interviewed him, and I think he'd enjoyed the older corporate hospitality a bit too much, like in the first half. And I remember because Thomas Hitzelsberger, he was a good player, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He scored one of his bombs, you know, to put it. Yeah, exactly. His hammer shot, hammer into the top corner. And Jeremy asked Martin at half time, he's like, "What did you think about Thomas's first half performance?" He went, "Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Because the last time a German came to East London, he bombed the place." So from then on, we haven't interviewed Martin Allen on the pitch ever since. Funny that, isn't it? But yeah, he's a top.
Just for entertainment.
Yeah, and funny story. His carpool buddy when he was at West Ham was Kevin Keane. Could you remember them two? Imagine them two, like real poles apart.
Yeah.
The M25 every day. Kev didn't know how he did that for God knows how many years as well. But yeah, top guy.
Yeah.
Mad. Right. Okay, Mad Dog is in. Who's next, man?
Okay, good segue there, because Kevin Keane is my next player.
That happens so often. It's really. I apologise, but every time Keano, there he is.
Good. I mean, there's so many wingers that I could have chosen, but I'd say growing up, Kevin Keane. Yeah, I thought he was a really good player on the wing there.
Yeah, no, and he was just like one of those. He was so integral to that sort of team, wasn't he? He was just
he was kind of an unsung player as well, wasn't he? He didn't really get a lot of credit, but I thought he did really well for us.
Yeah, he did. He played hundreds of games for us as well, and he was in one of the quiz nights as well. He wasn't in the one with Martin Allen, but he was in the other quiz night, and he's quite a clever lad. Old Kevin Keane. As you could imagine. And
it's good to see him come back to the club as well. And not only as a coach, but he also managed a little. Didn't he?
Yeah, I think we went through it. I think he's been in every position in the coaching staff at West Ham.
Yeah,
we went through literally, apart from kit man. I think he's done everything else. You know, he's done every sort of age group, or pretty much most age groups. He's done obviously assistant manager. So he was first team coach, and he was obviously caretaker manager for a few games as well.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Fair play. And
he doesn't really get the credit for what he's done for the club.
He doesn't. And he's bloody good at his job, because he wouldn't have gone to Liverpool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so he's bloody good at his job, and by his own admission, he's saying, this new crop of he's under 18s, isn't he, coach? He went, this new crop. There's some really good players in there. There's some really good, and I think we've seen a few of them come through with this. When we played Hull, we played Charlton, we had like people like Ashby and people like that, and Alessi. There does seem to be some good academy players. Gonna progress to the next level in the next couple of years, and by the sounds of it, there's another load underneath them. So
hopefully more can bring them through then. And
exactly, and have and probably Mark Noble will be on the coaching staff by then. So
they are saying he's there, aren't he? He's going to do some coaching, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what Kev said. Yeah, I asked him the question directly, and he went, "Yeah, well, he's bloody good at coaching, because obviously the kids look up to him, don't they? Because to them, he's been at West Ham. If they're 10 years old or even 15 years old, he's been there all the time since they've been alive. It's weird for some people, like Declan Rice as well. I mean, Declan Rice, Martin Noble's been at the club as long as Declan Rice, since he was there at 14. Do you know what I mean? It's mental to think of it. But
I mean, I'm going to go back to James Collins as well. I mean, it's good to kind of have these kind of ambassadors, if you like, to kind of for the kids to look up to.
Oh, totally, because and just that, but also the knowledge and the wealth of understanding in terms of what it means to be a West Ham player. And Moyes knows it himself. I think it was one of the early press conferences this season. He said when they were talking about players he wants to bring in, and he's like, I'm only going to bring in the right players who understand what it is to support West Ham, to play for West Ham, and you got a sense of that with people like Bowen and Souček and Soufal. These guys know how to put a shift in, and it's starting to filter back through. Do you remember, like as you said, with the people like the Bish era and Mad Dog and Keno, you would not ever question them all putting a shift in.
No, absolutely.
And so it seemed to be getting back to that time. It'd be nice to see, but obviously times are different. I mean, Bish was there. I don't know how many years he was there. Mad Dog was there for a long time. Keno was there for a long time. But as long as we get that mentality, I don't think people necessarily mind the fact that modern games moved on. And if you get 3 or 4 years out of a player, you've done well, or a manager indeed nowadays. But but we'll put Kevin Keane in. Who is next then, Ian?
Okay, so again, sort of following on from that discussion there, sort of Joe Cole came up through the ranks.
Yeah.
Everyone was excited by him. I remember reading in the papers that he was going to be the next big thing, and indeed he went on to do good things.
He was, yeah. It was one of those. It was just. I always felt really sorry for him. I think it was probably about the age of 12 or 13, wasn't it? People started hearing about this kid.
Yeah.
It must have been tremendous pressure on him as a young lad, and obviously we signed him on. I remember we signed him on the pitch, didn't we? When he was 16. I think it was Chelsea as well. We played Chelsea that day as well, which I thought was quite ironic. Because I remember Jeremy sort of bigging it up, saying, "Oh, you'll tell your grandkids when you remember Joe Cole signing." He's like, bloody hell, this poor kid, But he was that good, wasn't he? He was that good.
Yeah.
And
it's all about putting labels on people. We said about Ferdinand early being the new Bobby Moore, and like I say, Joe Cole putting a massive pressure on him early doors.
He was like the new
We're doing it again with Declan Rice, aren't we? We're kind of doing it right now.
Yeah, but I think with Declan Rice, he's like, now he's obviously played over 100 games for us, 100 Premier League games for us. I think he's established now, isn't it? So I think it's nice to give him that mantle. But with Joe Cole, he was like, barely had started the game. I think he was still playing for the youth team, and they said, "This guy's the next Paul Gascoigne." It's like, bloody hell, you know what I mean? It's like Rio, and this guy's coming in as a kid, and he's going to be the next Bobby Moore. And it's like, oh. And similar to the way Rio, I mean, obviously Joe Cole, I think Joe Cole was the truest Joe Cole when he was at West Ham. By his own admissions, he's always said he's been a street footballer, and that's how he played when he was at West Ham. He was like a free role, and now you don't get free roles. And at Chelsea, they sort of put him on the left, and Lincoln put him on the left, and never really sort of got to that level, I think, that he could have got to.
And he never really worked out the second stint either as well. Because I think
I think it was more like it was a book. It was like the bookend, wasn't it? It was like a full stop, a last chapter, which he thought he still thought there was more to, just to say goodbye a little bit. But I mean, it still was Joe Cole. He still turned it again, still played 100%. Still
absolutely
out there, and a few that Man United game, particularly in the cup. Top guy, lovely bloke. Right, Joey's in. Who is next, then, Ian?
Okay, so ultimate fans' favourite, Di Canio.
Yeah, PDC.
Yeah, absolutely. Goal of the season, goal of the century against Wimbledon.
Yeah, it was funny. We interviewed him for you, and he takes full credit for that goal.
How's that?
I was like, what? That's like, did you take the pass? Did you do the pass? He went, no. And he went on to explain that basically Paolo was, and this was like, he's like, this is exclusive, Russ. I don't think I ever told anyone this. Like, okay, brilliant. So apparently Paolo for some reason started doing this sort of double kick thing in training on like the Friday. No reason for it. He just started doing it, and he skied quite a few. He got a couple, and then everyone was going in, and he made Ian stay out, and I think it must have been some youth team kid literally for about 2 or 3 hours, crossing balls, and he was nailing it, and until he started nailing them. And apparently, when he scored the goal at Liverpool against Wimbledon, he then runs down the touchline after he's done the I can't do no more.
Yeah.
He runs down the touchline and says and points to Ian and says, "That's for you. That's for you." I haven't seen the footage, but who am I to judge? And it sounds plausible. So,
Yeah.
but he was just a magician, wasn't he? An entertainer.
Yeah.
Just
He was Maverick, wasn't he? He was just unpredictable, and that's kind of what that was good about him.
He was just fun to watch, wasn't he? He was just like in the same way that Bish and that era, and then obviously the era before, but obviously going into the new era with Di Canio and Sinclair and Ian, we had some great players, but it was just exciting. Football was entertaining then. I always find it a bit bland now. That sort of lack of characters, social media and just the fact that they're now professional athletes means they're a bit more sterile, if that makes sense.
Yeah. He was definitely a character, and that's kind of what you want, isn't it, on the pitch. He's going to row with you if you're having a penalty, and he wants to take the ball off you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of what you want, isn't it? Sometimes you do,
and it's like you want to go into a game thinking, what Paolo Di Canio is going to turn up?
Yeah.
Is it going to be the amazing player? Is it going to be the petulant child? Is it going to be a combination? And you hope there'll be a combination of both, because then you get entertainment on and off the pitch, and that's when it was really exciting. It was a really exciting time to be a West Ham fan. That was entertainment perspective, because that's what it should be. We should be. I mean, even now we should be entertained. Now we need entertainment more than anything at the moment. And imagine them not playing.
And you probably still could as well.
He probably still, even if he couldn't, he'd probably still want to play.
Yeah,
that's how much he loved the game.
We're playing at the Mark Noble testimonial. It's great to see him on the pitch then. That was just a great thing.
And I remember the Tony Carr one as well, because he ended up playing on both teams.
Yes.
Tony got him. I remember we interviewed him and he talked about Paolo, and he said, "Yeah, I got him to do the first half, and then I went for a cup of tea, came back, and he changed shirts. He wanted to play the second half for the other team." It was like, all right, absolutely. Brilliant, man. Right, okay, so PDC is in, and who's he going to partner? That last piece of the pie.
Yeah, so growing up, this was my first player that I kind of got. There was a poster on our school wall. He had a soccer school. I was like, I'm going to have that. When they don't do that poster anymore, I'm having it. It was the Tony Cottee soccer school.
Yeah,
Tony Cottee. He was my striker that I kind of watched and followed for quite a while.
Yeah, top guy. TC, top guy. He scored 146 goals, something like that.
I remember a classic one as well. One of the games I remember, it always sticks in my head, against Forest. It was 3-3, and he did this amazing bicycle kick at the far post. I was like, oh my god, that's amazing.
I know. He's what I liked about TC was. And again, as a player, we talk about how the modern day's finish has changed. Tony Cottee, I don't think would his type of fox in the box striker, true striker. You don't get any of them nowadays. I was talking to someone about it the other day, and you look at the top strikers, you look at Vardy, and you look at.
Defoe was kind of the next one, wasn't he?
Yeah,
really?
exactly. He's probably the last. Yeah, maybe. And then we had Hernandez. We always thought he was going to be the next DC, but never really worked out. And then since then, there's been no one really in the Premier. Even someone like Danny Ings, who used to be like that, has sort of developed his game to be more of a forward rather than a striker.
Yeah, but I suppose Kingston was a little bit like that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was a bit of a fox.
Yeah, he was, and obviously him and Johnny, the partnership they brought together. But it's like you just don't get that in the modern day now. That sort of you think all the big teams now, they haven't got a poacher. They've got this sort of it's a forward rather than a striker now, isn't it? They're forward. So with the exception of I said probably Defoe is the only one playing now. You could say was a bit was Cottee-esque, but he was a great, and again, a massive West Ham fan, and to score in your debut against Spurs, and he's just it was proper Roy of the Rovers stuff, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah. Let's say he came up to the ranks, and that's kind of what you want: somebody to play for the shirt who knows what it's all about, and Living died with them.
Yeah, die hard West Ham, and yeah, you have to get your stats right with Tony because he loves his stats, and so that's why I know it's 146 goals because. Well, I hope it still is 140. Yeah, so I hope it still is. Because when we interviewed him, I said all these stats. He went, I think I had 17 claps instead of 8, Russ. Apart from that, very good. It was like, or something like that. I really, 8 instead of 7, 8 instead of, I did one. It was the England caps. I said it was 1 hour. I was like, oh, come on. And I said, I think you're on the bench for one of them, Tony. He's like, no. 8 England caps. But no, he's a top bloke. And it's funny looking through that team. A lot of them are in sort of the collective 11 that I put together of everyone.
Yeah.
So it just but those people stand out, those type of people stand out because they've been around for so long and they made such an impact on people across generation. I mean, TC as well. He had obviously the 2 spells. So people saw him in the 8, that the famous season, Boys of 86. But then obviously when he went and came back, a lot of people then saw him. I saw him play. I never saw him play. Obviously, I wasn't there for the 85, 86 season, or the one before, which not a lot of people talk about. But I was there for for his comeback, and he spoke very candidly about that actually, and because obviously the first time he came back, he got booed, didn't he, when he was came back, and that really, really hurt him.
We got sent off, didn't we? First game.
And so he said that it really hurt him, and so he never really contemplated going back until the Tony Carper testimonial.
Yeah.
And no, it wasn't. Sorry, it was a Bobby Moore match, and he got applauded on the pitch because they had everyone lined up, I think, and they individual from each club, and he got applauded, and then that started the cogs. And it's interesting. Yeah, I love all those funny these little stories. But Ian, man, it's been lovely. It's been lovely. Thank you so much for your time. We finally got it. Finally got it in the Very good, man. So I appreciate your time, and obviously everyone, follow Hammer's polls. You're probably already doing it, but make sure you do. Always some good questions on there, and I might
feel free to drop me a question.
Yeah, I will put a question up there, but I know I'm going to lose to Sean Winston. So, but as long as I beat Adam Franco, that's all I care about. But anyway, until next time for me and Ian, thanks for watching, everyone. If it's YouTube, Spotify, whatever, give it a like, give it a share. And for me and Ian, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Cover your irons, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care, everyone.